What's up everyone? It's your girl Ray Vaughn from Love Lola. Welcome to my channel. Today I am so excited about the bag that we're going to be making. I know I always say that, but baby, today I am so pumped. I absolutely adore this bag. I never make time to make a second version of a bag, but I'm going to be making another version of this bag. I know I am because I love it so much. All right, so let's get into it. This, so cute, is the Avellana, and it's by Shamballa bags. The shape is just always so, I don't know, just so pretty and sleek. I love it. This bag can easily be made into a backpack. If I make it again, when I make it again, I think I'm going to do some modifications to make it be a backpack. I love it so much. So she does say that this pattern is considered intermediate. Let me grab the specs really quick for you. Centimeters. Chewy! I'm working. Daddy's home. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so let's check out the specs really quick. She said that this bag is considered intermediate. It is 9.5 inches high, which is going to be 24 centimeters. It's also 9.5 inches wide, and then it is 4.5 inches deep. So that's 11 centimeters. All right, here's the back. How adorable. Here's the bottom. As you can see, it has a zipper on the front. It has a magnetic snap in the front and a drawstring. We're also using, what is this called? Grommets. Jeez. We're using grommets on this bag, and we're using 12 of them. Now, you can modify the bag how you want to do it on the inside. I have added a slip pocket for my purse and also a zipper pocket. Okay. These connectors are also on my website. If you like that. I love that they have a little D-ring attached to the bottom for connecting whatever you want to connect to it. I just made this little, I don't know what you call it. I cut some leather up and added some stuff, some bling. But anyway, I love this bag. Let me try it on for you. So cute. There we go. That's a little better. How cute, y'all. Get into this bag. Definitely the perfect shape to be made into a backpack for sure. But I love it like this as well. So yeah, if you like this bag, then stay tuned because we're going to make it. All right, let's get started. And please take a moment to glance down in the description box below because I'm going to have a link to everything that you need to make this bag. As far as where to get the pattern, all the hardware that's on the bag is available on my website, lovelolalooks.com. So I'm going to have the link to what I use on this bag in case you like it. And yeah. Big girl. All right, so really quick, let's go over what our front panel looks like. We have our front panel top, our front panel bottom, and then we have our bottom piece. We've also got these little zipper tabs, and they're going to go on either side of that zipper. And we have our front panel top. Now go ahead and get these marks on your pieces. Really quick, I have interfaced everything with Sewfuse Plus at this point. My bottom piece, I also stabilized. So I have Pellon Peltex that I used as my stabilizer, and then I placed a piece of Sewfuse Plus on top of that and fused it all together. On your front panel top, you can mark on the back for your grommets, which I haven't done yet. I'm about to do it. One of them, you're also going to make a mark for your magnetic snap. It's going to be the female part. Okay, so that's that. I've also cut out, I am going to do a little bit of piping, but I'm not going to do it around the whole thing. This is my lazy way of doing piping. I cut it 8 inches long, and I'm going to still start it where she tells us to start our piping. So we can use our, yeah, it tells you on your gusset where to start your piping. So I'm going to start my piping right there on my gusset, and I'm going to let it, you know, gradually go away. And I cut this. That's just how I'm doing mine. She also gives you instructions for how to do piping around the whole thing that you can follow. Okay. We have got our flap panel. For our flap panel, you want to cut 2 in your exterior. You'll see, like as usual, she gives you the option of cutting along the solid line if you want to have your edges exposed. And if you don't, then you can cut along the dotted line, which is what I'm going to do. And that's when you sew your flap right sides together and turn it out. I've interfaced, I've interfaced with Sewfuse Plus on this as well. I've cut out my stabilizer piece for my flap, and I'm just going to insert that after I get it sewn together. You can go ahead and if you would like to add your logo badge to the front of this flap, you can go ahead and use this to get that marked on the back. And then on your flap piece, that's going to be the underside, you can go ahead and use your pattern piece to get it marked where you're going to be adding your male part of the magnetic snap. We also have the flap support piece. Let's see. We've got our back panel piece, okay, and that's where our flap is going to be attached. If you just want to have a little bit of a visual, okay, there we go, something like that. All right, and on your back panel, go ahead and mark your grommet placements. And then for your gussets, you can also go ahead and get those grommet places marked. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and find the center of my pieces and mark it, because it just always makes it easier, right? So go ahead and mark the center of all of your pieces, and then we'll get started. Okay, and grab your zipper tabs and fold them so that wrong sides are touching, just like that. Once you have it folded, line it up along the edge of your zipper so that the raw edges of this zipper tab is against the raw edge of the zipper. I'm doing that to both sides. And we're gonna go and get that attached at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and we're attaching it along the inside seam of that zipper tab, okay? There. Okay, once we have that done, flip it over and let's trim down the underside of that zipper tab, just so we can cut back on our the bulkiness. Trim it down to about the 1/4 of an inch. Should suffice. There we go. Now we can set that aside for now. Let's grab our front panel bottom piece. We should have an exterior and a lining. Go ahead and place double-sided tape along the top of both of those pieces. Also grab your front panel top, one of those exterior pieces, and put double-sided tape along the bottom of that one. Then grab your front panel lining piece and put double-sided tape along the top. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the tape on all of these pieces. Let's start with the front panel bottom. Oop, I got my finger stuck. All right. Okay, we're going to take our zipper. I like mine to open to the right and close to the left. So just make sure you have that going the way you want it to go. And then you're going to place your zipper right side facing down, right on top. You're going to line up those edges. All right, get it pressed on firmly. Once you have that attached, you're going to grab your front panel bottom, this time the lining, and you're going to place this right side facing down right on top of that zipper. Okay, now we're going to go and sew all of these layers together at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. If you need to put your zipper foot on, then go ahead and do that. Okay, now let's flip it over. I'm going to just use my fingers to kind of press that down a little bit, the lining. And now I'm going to flip it over all the way. Ooh, I like it already. Finger press it, and now we're going to go back and add a top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance right along there. Now okay, now grab your front panel top piece and place it right side facing down. Line it up with the top of that zipper. Once you have that attached, go ahead and flip it over. And then grab your front pocket lining piece. And we're going to place that right side down and line it up with the top. Okay, and now we're going to go and get this attached at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so once we have that attached, I'm going to finger press that a little bit. And then we want to make sure that this pocket is aligned with everything else. And now we're going to go and add a top stitch right along here. And while we're over there, let's go ahead and baste around this bottom. So we're going to be attaching all of those pieces together, okay? Okay, once you've got that basted together, go ahead and if you want to add any more interfacing or stabilizing to your main panels, go ahead and do that. I interfaced mine already, but I added another layer after I got all of that attached because I was thinking about doing stabilizer, but I decided I don't want to stabilize this bag because it's, you know, the pull, what do you call it? You know, when it opens with the string, like a drawstring. And I feel like bags like that, I don't think I want it to be very stiff. So instead of using stabilizer, I just put another layer of that Sofuse Plus interfacing on the back of that. I've already got one on here. And then I decided to go ahead and interface my lining, which is made out of vinyl, because I feel like with that interface and this interface, it's gonna give me, it's gonna be kind of stabilized, but not as stiff as if I would have used a stabilizer, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've interfaced all of my pieces at this point. Now let's work on our, why can't I talk? Let's work on our flap. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. You should have put the marks on your flap for your hardware. On your lining piece, you will be installing the male magnetic snap. And on the exterior of your flap, you can go ahead and get your logo if you would like. I already talked about as far as cutting this out if you're going to be sewing it together and leaving exposed edges, or if you're going to be doing like me and turning it out. I'm going to be sewing mine together to turn it out, so I'm going to place them right sides touching. And I'm going to go ahead and get it pinned together. Really quick, I will say when I am sewing flaps or anything that has a curve, I do like to take my piece, my template, and use that to draw my curve, because I just be going nuts on these. It don't be right. So instead of taking that chance, I will just use it to make sure that my curves are in place. And I'm just guesstimating about 1/4 of an inch. That looks about right. Actually, let's do that on the exterior side. That's the side that we always want to reference when sewing pieces together, because that's the side that's going to show. I know. It looks like about 1/4 of an inch. All right, and now we're gonna sew that at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, you can trim it down just a little bit to about 1/8 of an inch. Get it turned out. I like to use my little roller for this. If you like this, you can find it on Amazon. That's where I got mine. I do have a link down below in my description box of this and all the other tools that I like to use. Okay, and once you're happy with it, head back to the machine and get a top stitch at 1/8 of an inch around the entire thing. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and grab my stabilizer piece right now and get that put in. Okay, So I'm gonna go and do that top stitch, and then I'm gonna go ahead and baste the top shut while I'm at it. Okay, once you have that done, grab your back panel piece, and right there where it says flap right there where it says flap placement, go ahead and fold in those dotted lines. Place it on your piece, and then draw a line. I used an erasable marker. It shouldn't show, but just to be safe. And then put a piece of double-sided tape right over that mark. And then we're gonna take it off and grab your flap that we just finished and place it right along that line. I should have marked the middle. Perfect. Okay, and now we are going to go and top stitch right on top of where we basted that shut. Once we have that done, we want to measure 3/8 of an inch up from the bottom of the flap, not from the top stitch, from the bottom of the flap. And draw a line. I'm going to go ahead and get some double-sided tape put on because I love this stuff. We're going to be putting our flap support piece right there, so actually going to put some along the bottom. I'm using leather for this because I just like, I don't know, it's a lot thicker than the vinyl, you know. I just like the way it feels for overlays and stuff like that. So if I have any around, I usually will use it. And I like a pop of random color. You know, just some random ass color. Why not? This bag is all brown. Liven it up a little bit. Alright, so we're going to use the line that we just drew to place this on and make sure that it's centered. Alright, there we go. Pretty. Alright, and now let's go and get this attached at 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and do not back stitch on your thread. Leave it long so that you can pull it to the back and cut it. Tie it and cut it. Okay, so once you've got that on, pull your strings to the back and get them tied off. Then we can check out what we're working with. Yes. I can dig it. Okay, so now let's work on our gusset pieces. If you have not used your template to mark where you're going to be adding your side connectors, and go ahead and do that. Before you poke any holes or before you make any cuts, go ahead and grab what you're actually using and measure it, because you know all of our hardware are different sizes, so make sure it matches exactly what's on the template. Mine didn't, it was a little bit wider. So once you've got that done, go ahead and get your hardware installed. I am going to be adding stabilizer because I just feel like you can never have enough stabilizer behind hardware. I like these pieces because, as you can see, it has a little D-ring attached on the side, and I want to add something to this, so that's going to be perfect for my little piece that I'm going to add. If you like this, it is available on my website, Love Lola. I will add a link to it for you. It's really good for when you want to add a handle to something also. And then if you want to add a handle to a bag and have this D-ring to attach a chain, is perfect for like a Mabel. That would be ideal. Okay, now if you want to add piping, this is the time to do it. You should have made a mark on the gusset pieces for that. I am going to be doing my lazy version of piping. I did not use any cording. I just cut these pieces 8 inches long by 1 inch and folded it in half. And then I decided I wanted to pop a color because it was just too brown. And so I did decide to do double piping. I've never done this before, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out. Hopefully it's cute, but yeah. Yeah, I hope it's okay. Okay, so let's see. I am going to do it where if I do it this way and add it to the front. Okay, I'm going to do it where the brown part is facing down. Because if I do that, then if I attach this to the front, that will show. Yeah. So I'm going to start it. I'm going to find where my mark is, so it's right here. That's where I want to start. And I'm actually going to use tape just because I have 2 layers of piping and it's kind of thick, so I just really don't want anything moving around on me. I don't want no problems, okay? And she does give a link in the pattern for a full tutorial on adding piping. So if you're not doing it like this, then feel free to check it out. This is just what I'm doing today. Alright. And you want the raw edges of your piping to be along the raw edges of your gusset. Okay. And what you want to do with piping is when you get towards the end, when you get towards the end, you just want to lift it up and just casually let it trail off. Real simple. And that's it. Same thing for the bottom. Lift it up and just casually let it trail off. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. And now I'm going to go and get that attached at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, between 1/8 and 1/4, because later we're going to be adding this to the main panel at, I believe, 1/4 of an inch. So I don't want my thread to show, so I'm going to play it safe and go more towards 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other panel. Okay, so once you've got your piping, if you're doing piping done, you can go ahead and trim along the back. Okay, let's put this aside and grab one of our main panels. I'm gonna do the front first. Grab your bottom panel piece and you're gonna lay those right sides together, matching the midpoints. And we're gonna go and get that attached at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now we're going to press it so that the seam allowance is going towards the bottom of the bag. And then we're gonna go and top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance along the bottom panel. Okay, now we're going to repeat the same thing to the other side. So let's grab our back panel and place this panel, the bottom piece, right sides touching, lined up in the center. And let's go and get it attached at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so I got that second side attached and I went ahead and top stitched along the top at 1/8 of an inch, just like we did the other side. Now we're gonna grab our gusset. Now, if you ever have problems with your gusset, then I recommend putting a little bit of double-sided tape along the curves. And that always helps me when my curves are trying to move around too much. And then I just did the whole thing because I don't know why. Oh, gosh. All right, we want right sides touching, so our exterior is touching, and we should have marked the midpoint already, so line that midpoint up with the midpoint there, okay? And I'm going to pin it, and then I'm going to match up the corners. And once you've got your corners matched up, you can go ahead and get everything situated and, you know, just kind of get everything to fit. As usual, everything fits great. Perfecto. Couldn't get any more perfect than that. Okay, now we're gonna go and get this attached at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now once you've got that attached, if you did piping, I recommend turning it out and making sure that none of your thread is showing from where you made your piping, because you don't want to keep going and that is a problem. If you're happy with everything, let's go ahead and get the other side attached. Just like before, we want right sides touching. Hey, are you still watching? Great. So why don't you do me a favor and go ahead and hit the like button. Help us sister out. Like and subscribe. Keep my channel going. Appreciate you. Bye. Thanks, sis. Okay, and once we have that sewn, I will say that I went back and added a second top stitch right next to the first one, just because sometimes when I'm doing curves it moves around a little bit, so the second time I can go a little bit slower because it's already attached, and I can make sure that I'm going exactly at the 1/4 inch seam allowance so I can get that, you know, perfect stitch. And also I'm using a lot of material layers, so I wanted to have a second stitch so that it's not pulling. All right, so now you can trim it down, or she said that you can just put some notches, cut some notches around the curves, whatever you prefer to do. And then we can turn it out. Play with your seams, press them out a little bit. Oh, this is cute. Yes, honey. Oh my gosh. Okay, now let's work on our lining. To get your lining put together, we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did to the exterior. So I'm not gonna show it just because storage space, but it's the exact same thing. I did add a slip pocket and a zipper pocket. You can follow the instructions on the, you can follow the link that she has in the tutorial link that she has in the instructions, or I'm also going to be adding the link to, I have a video where I show how I do my zipper pockets and my slip pockets. In that video, there will be an overlay. I just forgot to add mine. It's all good. But anyway, so we've got our pieces and we're gonna add it the same way as before. We're gonna grab our bottom piece. We're gonna place it right sides together to one of our exterior panels and add it at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. We're going to turn it over, top stitch along the bottom, repeat it to the other side. Once we get that done, we're going to grab our gussets and get them attached the same way as before, adding it at the midpoint and then at the top, and then all the way through. Now, she does say to go ahead and start that seam allowance at 1/4 of an inch. But as you get further in, after about an inch, go ahead and start increasing that seam allowance from 1/4 of an inch to 3/8. And that's gonna help you not have any sagging in your lining. Also, leave an opening on one of your sides. It's gonna need to be about 6 inches wide, and that's what we're gonna use to turn our bag through. All right, let's get this put together. Okay, now once we have our lining sewn, you can go ahead and trim it down, your seam allowance if you like, but don't trim down the top part. Don't trim down like the first inch of the corners, because you want to be able to open your seam when you attach it to the exterior. All right, and just a reminder, you should have left an opening on one side of your lining, okay? All right, to get it, that was a weird noise. I don't want to tell you. Okay, whenever I have curves, I do like to draw that line to make sure that I get a the correct shape. So I did just now, I just laid this down and moved it down to what I think is about 3/8 of an inch and traced it. Did the same thing with the sides, just so we can have some nice pretty curves. Don't have to do it, that's just what I did. Okay, and to get this put together, we want our exterior to be the right way facing out. Lining is inside out, and we are going to, I like my zipper, if you did a zipper, to be towards my body. So I want that towards the back of the bag. We're gonna place this inside. And we're gonna tuck. Why didn't I mark the midpoint of my back? I'm tripping. I'm gonna do that really fast. There we go. Okay, now let's get that tucked in. Let's match up our midpoints first. Next, let's match up all of our gusset corners, opening up those seams. Match up that midpoint. Get it in there, it can fit. And that's when he's in. Okay. I did tuck that flap in case I didn't say that. Flap should be tucked in between the exterior and the lining, okay? Okay, so when I first made my marks, I put the marks for my grommet on the inside, on the you know, the wrong side of the exterior, and I should have put the marks on the outside, because once we turn it over, that's when we need to get those grommets put in. So what I'm going to do is just reach in carefully and poke a hole where I made all of those marks. And I'm only poking a hole through my exterior right now, okay? And that way, once I get it turned out, I'll be able to find those holes and then get my grommets attached. I don't want to go through both of my lining right now, because sometimes, you know, when we turn this over to do the top stitch, it may shift a little bit. So I'm just poking through my exterior so that I can have a reference for later. Let's turn it out. Well, first let's trim our seam allowance down a little bit, and then we'll turn it out. Trim it down to about 1/8 of an inch. Alright, and let's massage our seams out. Get everything nice and smooth. I'm going to give a little bit of a press because it got a little wrinkled when I turned it out. No big deal. Easy fix, easy fix. Okay, let's get it tucked in. Make sure everything looks good. Oh my gosh, that fits so good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get my hole closed up, and then while I'm over there, I'm gonna do my top stitch. So go ahead and work that out. Get your seams nice and worked out so we can get a pretty top stitch. If you need to hammer your seams down a little bit, do that. I'm gonna use this clamp. It does the exact same thing. I got it off of Amazon. If you're interested, I do have the link down below where I link all of the products that I use. See how nice and flat it gets it? It's crazy, right? That's what it looks like before. And then I'm gonna use it and show you. We are dealing with some curves, so make sure you really push everything out so you can get the nice curve that you're supposed to have. See the difference? It makes a big difference. Okay, so now I'm gonna go and get my top stitch added all the way around at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so let's grab our grommets. This is what they look like. One side is kind of thick, one piece, and the other one is a flat. It's a washer. And we're gonna get these installed. I'm gonna be using this that I got from Amazon. It has a bunch of different sizes. And I'm gonna be using that to get my holes in my bag. So we're just gonna find the marks that we made and just center it with your tool, making sure that you kind of push your fabric, you know, your lining flat so that there's no shifting going on when you do this, okay? And let's go ahead and get all of these grommets attached. I'll show you how to do the first one. Okay, so I'm gonna place my board underneath where I want my hole to be, and then place my little metal piece. And then I'm gonna give it a few whacks. This is gonna take forever. Once you get it, your hole, what you wanna do is stick your grommet in, and you want the flat part. This is the side that has a little girth to it, I don't know. The flat part is gonna be facing out, so you're sticking that other part through that groove. And you've got all the little bullshit out of the way. You're gonna place the flat part on top, making sure that none of that thread or anything is showing. Then you're gonna get your base and place it right side facing up, and then you're going to place this right over that groove. Then you grab this tool and place it in the middle of that hole. And we're gonna hammer it a few times. There you have it. How cool is that, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do that 11 more times. All right, I'm gonna get my strap made really quick. It's gonna be a traditional strap. I have cut it, and down the middle long way, I've drawn a line. And all I'm gonna do is fold it into that midpoint. And we're folding it in, but not quite to it, because if you go all the way in, sometimes it'll make your strap start to warp. So just about in on both sides. And then I bend it over and connect those outer edges. And then I'm gonna skip down and do it again. And I'm going to continue to do this until I have my entire strap folded in. Okay, so I'm going to grab one end of my strap and run it up and over my adjuster. And then you can go and sew that together, or you can do a rivet, whichever you prefer. I'm going to add a rivet. Okay. Okay, once you get that riveted on, you're going to leave your strap wrong side facing up and just gonna run it all the way through to the other side. And then you're going to grab a swivel hook. This is a 1-inch swivel hook that I'm using today. It is available on my website as well. And then you're just gonna run it through, making sure that your strap is not twisting. When you get to the other side, you're going to run it up and back down. And then grab your other swivel hook and put it through. Again, you can go and sew it or rivet. I'm going to go ahead and attach it with a rivet. Okay, and there's our strap. Okay, so go ahead and get your drawstring cut out. I'm going to be doing mine a little bit different, only because I bought these cool little pieces for a drawstring on your bag, and I've never been able to use them. So, because this is my first time making a drawstring bag. So I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, so I'm going to be using this. If you like these, they are available on my website. I'll put a link down below. But anyway, because of the hole is a little bit smaller, I'm going to be I'm cutting my piece 1 inch wide because I need it to be small enough to go through that hole. So I've cut it 1 inch wide by the length that she said, and I'm going to do it just like a strap. Fold it in towards the middle, and fold again. So this is going to be a tiny little drawstring. I suppose they are tiny. And I'm going to just do that all the way through. Okay, so if you are going to follow the directions and the instructions that she gives you, just use the measurements that she gave you to make your drawstring. I'm just making mine a little bit smaller. That's the only difference, okay? When you are ready, you can go and get that sewn, just like you would do a strap, but because it's a little bit smaller, you only have to top stitch on one side. You don't have to go down both sides. Okay, so making the drawstring adjustment piece is super easy. You're gonna cut out a piece of material for those two sizes. And basically what you're gonna do is just place them wrong sides together and get them attached. Now, whether you want to use fabric glue or if you want to sew it together, whatever you decide to do, you just get them attached so that you have that thickness of 2 pieces of material. And then once you get them attached, you're just going to trim around so that you have, it's just one shape. And then after you do that, if you would like to put edge coat on it, you can always do that to make it look a little bit more professional. But then you're just going to fold it in half. And add a rivet right in that corner. Okay? And then you're just going to slide your drawstring through this. So if you want to, you know, kind of do that to get a feel of it, to make sure that it's the rivet is far enough in, plus whatever hardware, or if you tie the bottom in a knot, whatever you decide, that's going to stop it from sliding back through. Okay? So super easy. Now my drawstring, what I'm going to do is run it. So this is the piece that I have for drawstrings. I'm going to just run it through the hole. I think you push down and put it through. Please fit, please fit, please fit, please fit. I need this to fit. Okay, so I did get it through, but it was a really tight fit. I'm going to show you what I had to do to make that work. First, let me put it through the bag. In, out, in, out, in, out. Okay, so what I had to do was take it and cut it at an angle like that to make it kind of go to a point. And it's okay because we're going to cover that end up. And once we do that, then we're going to squeeze down like that and stick it in. You're going to have to shove it a little bit. And then I grab the pair of tweezers to catch the other side. And pull it through. I mean, you could use your teeth. If I wasn't on camera, I would totally grab it with my mouth. It'd be easier. Okay, and that's it. Well, it's just about it. Now we are going to, let's see. So if you want to adjust this, you squeeze it down and then it can move. And when you let go, it locks it where it can't move anymore. All right. So on the tip, I'm going to see if I want to leave it this long. Okay, and next we're going to grab these pieces. And you're going to take this little piece that looks like it has feet and place it over the end of the drawstring. Well, first you're going to put the cylinder part on. Okay. Then you're going to place this over the end, and then you're just going to bring the cylinder down over it. Until it clicks with the bottom. And those feet, you see those little claws? That's gonna grab the material and stop it from sliding. So I'm gonna do the other side. Y'all, I think this might be my new favorite bag. I know I always say that, but oh my gosh, I love this. It looks so professional. Oh my gosh, Sammy, I love it. Okay, I think I want to make a few more items to play around with. I forgot 2 of my holes. I only put 2 holes on this side instead of 4. I forgot to do 2 more. Ah! Okay, let me go fix that. I was like, this isn't even. Okay, so I just decided that I wanted to add like a charm to my bag. I just went into Cricut and came up with this really quick. If you're interested in it, I think I'm gonna go ahead and add it on my website. It'll just be free. A little template, like a charm for your bag. Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna get this cut out really quick. Okay, now that I've got my piece here, what I am going to do is get my insect added because I am just obsessed with insects lately. So I'm going to find the center of this circle, about right there. Looks good to me. I'm going to make a mark where I'm going to be putting my slit. And I'm going to put one on the back too because I'm nuts. I think it's gonna look really cool, like a 3D, you know? This leather is kind of stretchy. Not the best material to use for something like this, but it is what it is. All right. Now I'm going to be putting my insect in. You can use whatever you have, you know? If you have a label, this is cute to put a label. Oh, I should do a label. That would be cool, right? I want to do a label now. That'd be cool, right? An insect on one side and my name on the other. Let's see. This template was really easy. I literally just did it in Cricut and like, it took me 60 seconds. Like I said, I'll put it on my website. And then you can enlarge it or make it smaller, you know? Make it work for whatever you're trying to do at the moment. All right, I think I want it to go this way. Totally Cricut. But it's okay, it's for me. Okay, and now I am going to add a little bit of cement glue to this. Now, if you want to, you don't even have to sew these together. If you use the cement glue, it's going to be permanent. I may go and add a top stitch. Honestly, I don't even know right now. We'll see. But yeah, it's not necessary. And we're going to let this hang out for about 15 minutes. Whenever you use cement glue, you do have to let it cure. So we're going to give it about 15 minutes to get its life together. And then we'll come back and check on it and get it attached. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, so let me tell you now. I went ahead and closed up my inside hole that I turned it out through with glue. I used Aleene's Original Ultimate because I didn't want to have a seam, a top stitch seam on my lining for this one. So I closed that hole up with glue. The Ultimate something. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and get these attached. They should fit. So, oh no, I got glue on the outside. This is the most stretchy leather I have ever used. It's not perfect, but it's fine. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna do a top stitch, but you can add a top stitch right around the circle part or the oval part. I'm being lazy, so I don't think I will. And then I'm just gonna grab one of my little 10 millimeter spring locks. And run it through here. And then I'm going to run it onto the little D-ring that's on the bottom of this strap connector. I'm going to connect it right there. And that's it. Let me hurry up and go get some pictures for you guys because I'm about to lose the sun. All right, y'all, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me for this video today. If you make this bag, I want to see it. Do you understand? I want to see it. So tag me. You can find me on all of the social media platforms. And I'll also go ahead and add all of that stuff in my, I'll add a link to all of that stuff in the video description box as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.